Hello and welcome to Property Box News. I'm Simon Evison. In this programme, we look at a new rogue landlord name and shame list and buy-to-let mortgages 21 years on. But first, do you know the new HMO regulations? Late last year, a consultation took place to assess possible changes to HMO licensing. And as a result, a set of changes are imminent and will drastically increase the amount of properties in the UK that need to have an HMO licence. Currently, 60,000 HMOs across the UK require a licence, but this is set to almost treble once the new rules come into play. Once enforced, the following properties falling into any of the criteria listed here will be required to apply for a licence. First, a property inhabited by 5 or more people, which makes up 2 or more households. A household is classed as immediate family, that's parents and children, partners, which include married, civil partnerships or cohabiting, or individuals. Then, as well as 3-storey properties, single and 2-storey properties must be licensed if they fall within the above remit, including properties converted into bedsits. Properties above commercial buildings, such as shops or restaurants, must also be licensed. Once the new rules kick in, there will be a 6-month grace period, but any landlords who have not sorted out their licensing requirements will be liable for criminal prosecution and civil penalties of up to £30,000. Another rule that is gaining heavy criticism is the change to minimum room size. Box rooms will no longer be suitable, so 6.52 square metres for one person and 10.93 square metres for 2 people will be the new minimum. All this said, the new rules were meant to come into force at the beginning of October, and speculation is that a new date will be set for April next year, and it's not really a question of if, but when. Selective licensing is increasing around the country, and although the new national regulations are not in place, many councils are implementing restrictions and legislations to suit their needs. One such council is Greenwich, where permitted development rights for using a house as an HMO for 6 or less people is changing. New rules make it compulsory for landlords to apply for planning permission. The councils say it will improve living standards and force out rogue landlords. In the meantime, we recommend that you keep an eye on the news and stay in touch with your local EHO for updates. We, of course, at Property Box will follow developments closely. In another initiative to clamp down on rogue landlords, a new database has been launched by the government, detailing all those banned from working in the private sector. Maintained by local councils, the list contains details of agents and landlords who receive a financial penalty in relation to a banning order offence twice or more often within a 12-month period. The database has been introduced as part of the Housing and Planning Bill 2016, which also includes measures for banning orders and rent repayment orders. However, the decision to keep the database private and only accessible to the Department for Communities and Local Government and to local authorities remains controversial and has been criticised by several trade bodies. Meanwhile, Mayor of London Sadiq Khan intends to publish a similar list of persistently bad London-based landlords and letting agents. This list will be made public and is set to appear on the Mayor's website. It's interesting to see that London is introducing its own database of criminals, says Neil Cobbold of Payprop, who support the national database, and he says it may have a greater chance of success due to being accessible to all parties. And finally, if part of your investment strategy is buy and hold for capital growth, interesting statistics just released show you could be looking at over 1,000% return over 21 years. Since 1996, when buy-to-let mortgages were introduced, an investor who invested £100,000 in 4 houses worth £100,000 each and did nothing other than maintain the properties and collect rent would now be sitting on over £1.2 million worth of property. Graham Davidson, Managing Director of Sequa Property Investment, commented on investors' successful profiting over the last 2 decades, saying that landlords are still reaping the benefits of a thriving property market. Over the past 21 years, he said, the property market has churned through its typical cycle, and even after suffering the effects of the 2008 crash, landlords have still seen over 1,000% returns. Good news then, when investors are finding it tough, and this model can still work even in the current climate. That's all from me. Don't forget to like and share, and if you have any comments or points of view on this week's content, then leave us a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye. Buy to let 21 years on. And let's try 21, not 21. Who, ha, her, that will be. We look at. However, damn you, bugger. However, the decision to keep.